You're speaking to Mr. Biti. Look, we understand that you're no longer wanted by the police and you're not going to hand yourself over. What motivated the turnaround in the situation? Can you just update us, please?
Well, the arrangement I made with my lawyers, Mrs. Biti Mtetwa and Alex Mchadama, two of Harare senior lawyers, was that we were going to go to the police station at 2 p.m. This afternoon. But when the lawyers went in the morning to find out what the charges were, they were then advised that they should just leave their contact details and they would be contacted if necessary. Listen, this is just a victimization. We're used to it. We are just concerned about the situation in Zimbabwe. The callous murder of innocent citizens yesterday. The unleashing by the army of automatic machine guns on an unarmed civilian population, right in front of the international community, right in front of the SABC observers, the African Union observers, who, not surprisingly, gave their thumbs up to a clearly challenged and flawed election. And so we are very grateful to the international reports that have clearly pointed out that this couldn't have been a fair election. The playing field was not level. So it's a very tense Harare at the present moment. It's a very tense Zimbabwe, which is unnecessary. Elections are supposed to be ways and means of dialoguing, ways and means of celebrating, but Zimbabwe is Zimbabwe. It's a very sad story.
Mr. Biti, why do you think the army had to intervene yesterday? Because we have seen the police control even bigger protests or larger protests in the city centre before.
You are right. You are right. As you recall, only a few weeks ago, on the 11th of July, we had probably the biggest march ever in Harare when we marched to the office of the Zimbabwe Election Commission. Not a single window was broken. Our leader, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, was leading from the front. You saw the images. We even passed through the president's office in Samora Machel, and nothing happened. There was a bigger rally on the 5th, a bigger march on the 5th of July. Again, protesting, nothing happened. So this even-handedness is reflective that we are in a militarized state, a securocratic state. A coup took place in Zimbabwe. SADC ignored, and the military were just reminding us that the elections were a farce and they were in charge. And that's the message that they're sending out, that it's a securocratic state and that they're in power. Not even Emerson Mnangagwa. It is the military that are in charge.
Mr. Biti, why did you and your party announce that you won these polls, you won these elections prematurely and not wait for the final result? Do you not think that was a little bit irresponsible, taking into account?
All we said was that ZEC should comply with their constitutional duty of announcing. If they don't do that, we will announce. And we announced that our own data, our own VA11 forms, shows us that we've won the presidential election. Any party is entitled to do that. You do that in your own country every day. It's not a big issue. Why should it be a big issue in Zimbabwe? Because we're run by fascists. That's not good enough. Don't blame the victim. We're the victims here.
All right, but don't you think you're raising expectations of a populace that is very passionate, they want to see change, and then you dampen their spirits, and then there's disappointing, and then it results in violence playing out on the streets of Harare and the loss of innocent lives?
In 2008, I announced that Morgan Tsvangirai had won the election. I made that announcement on the 2nd of April 2008. There was no one who was shot. There was no one who was shot. So an announcement per se means nothing. But if you've got entrepreneurs of chaos, if you've got bishops of disaster, you have what happened yesterday. So don't blame the victim.
All right. I want you to tell us that you've been alleging that there's concerns around vote rigging, irregularities.
I don't want to go into that. We've been speaking about these issues. Even the reports have been issued about the uneven level playing field. I want to wait for the presidential result, then we will produce a full report.
All right. What would you like to see, or would you like to see a more robust response from SADC and the AU to take...
They're pathetic, with a great respect, as Africans we can do better. As Africans, we can do better. We should hold ourselves to high standards if anyone is to take us seriously? How do anyone have the decency of saying this election was free and fair, and you go home to your lovely wife and sleep? It just doesn't happen. So as Africans, we're letting ourselves down. Zimbabwean election was a farce, and SABC should have had the courage of saying that. The African Union should have had the courage of saying that. But instead, we have the usual old boys club story that we've witnessed on the African continent in the last 40 years. It's not good enough.
So do you feel that we are just replacing old faces of cronyism and corruption with new faces under the new administration?
Mnangagwa was with Mugabe for 50 years. Chiwenga was with Mugabe for 50 years. They're not even new faces. If you carry out your investigation, find out who stole $15 billion of our diamonds. Find out who stole billions of dollars of mineral wealth during the Balkan War, the DRC war in the late 90s and early 2000s. The same characters.
Mr. Biti, if once the announcement of the final presidential tally is in, and in the case that, will you accept the outcome, and what is the way forward? How are you going to advise your supporters going forward?
I'm going to restrain myself here because it's in the best interest of our country that no more life is lost. So my answer to you, my sister, is that we will wait for that result.
All right, thank you, my brother. That was Mr. Tendai Biti, the MDC's Alliance member there, chatting to us on the line from Harare. Well, let's continue.